today's show exploring natural solutions to common health problems. Peter Glidden knew from a young age that he wanted to go into medicine. A debilitating illness and a remarkable cure led him to pursue a career in holistic health care. Dr. Glidden has run a successful naturopathic practice for over 20 years and hosts his own daily radio show. He has conducted hundreds of lectures around the world teaching that the body is able to heal itself using natural, affordable, safe, and effective solutions. An outspoken advocate for holistic health, Dr. Glidden's new book explores why MD-directed medicine consistently fails to cure disease. Here to explain his claim that everybody is sick, and I know why, please welcome Dr. Peter Glidden. Dr. Glidden, welcome back. It's great to have you, man.
Thanks so much.
You and I have done a few shows together now.
Yes, sir.
And I love how straight to the point you are. And, you know, we live in a world where most of us rely on experts.
Right.
Life's become complex. I mean, I don't know how to fly a plane, so I trust somebody to take me. I don't know where they're going when I get above the clouds, so I'm trusting that pilot to get me at the city I want to get to. And what I'm hearing you say in some of our other programs is that the medical doctors, as far as you're concerned, have kind of dropped the ball at healing people. They're just managing symptoms, and that there is a number of other alternatives out there that are doing an amazing job. But I know for myself, I don't know what to believe sometimes, because when you get on the internet and Google some stuff, you got all these amazing things, and then you got people who are completely against it. This person says they're amazing. This person says they're a quack. Like, there's so many mixed messages.
Well, thank God for science, right? Thank God for education. Thank God for a little bit of regulation, right? I mean, if your son or daughter wanted to learn how to play hockey, and you had the choice for exactly the same amount of money, right, of having Jonathan Taves from the Chicago Blackhawks, right, or your high school hockey coach teach them how to play hockey, you're probably going to go with the professional.
Right, the results.
That's right. So if you're up against a health condition and you're frustrated with whatever it is that you're doing, which is probably MD-directed medicine, you've tried them over and over and over and over, and they've failed you and they've failed you, and your health has gotten worse, and you don't know what to do, but you know you want to do something, then it would perhaps be prudent for you to lean on a professional who's trained, regulated, licensed, and experienced in the alternative quote-unquote method. Now, the problem with this situation is there are less than 4,000 licensed naturopathic physicians in the entire world. And of those 4,000, there are less than 300 that have more than 25 years of clinical experience. We've been led down the goose path in two ways here. We're suffering from two cultural myths. Number one, that the MD owns the secret decoder ring to all things medical and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. It's a lie. And number two, interestingly enough, healing is a complicated, sophisticated process. It can only happen in high-tech, multi-million-dollar hospitals. That's not true. Surgery is complicated. And if you had the choice of doing surgery in a multi-million-dollar high-tech facility or a MASH tent, you're going to want to use the high-tech facility. But healing is easy. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. The body knows how to fix itself. You just need to educate yourself about what the body needs, what the body doesn't need, start to apply it, and see for yourself what works.
So, like, if someone comes to you, so let's pretend, okay, you're the doctor here, and I've got a problem. I'm going, okay, so they say I've got high blood pressure, and they want to put me on high blood pressure meds. What would you say?
Well, I would say that when you hear hoofbeats, you think about horses before you think about zebras.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
So when you see a diagnostic condition, you think about the most common things that cause it before you start thinking about esoteric, arcane things. Mm-hmm. The single most common cause of high blood pressure is a deficiency in the mineral magnesium.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting how that works, right? You have two types of blood vessels in the human body. You have arteries and you have veins. And arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. Well, what's the difference? Well, there's one significant difference between the two. Arteries have muscles. Veins do not. Well, why does an artery have muscle? Because God is smart. So when the heart pumps blood out of the heart, it goes into the artery, and the muscle in the artery constricts and relaxes in order to help the heart pump the blood. Fascinating mechanism, like a snake crawling down the street. The artery constricts and relaxes in order to help the heart pump the blood. That's fantastic. Well, how does the muscle constrict and relax? The same way that a bicep constricts and relaxes, or any muscle in the body. It's done through magnesium and calcium. If you do not have enough magnesium, the muscle will constrict, but it cannot relax. So it stays constricted. Now, if you have a garden hose and there's water coming out of it, and you squeeze the hose just a little bit, the water comes out faster, right? Mm-hmm. It's because you've decreased the volume, the pressure goes up. So when the artery gets collapsed because of not enough magnesium, the blood pressure spikes. So you don't have high blood pressure because you have a circulatory system. You don't have high blood pressure because you have a bad gene. You don't have high blood pressure because you're getting older or because you have a voodoo curse. You have high blood pressure because your body ran out of the stuff it needed to maintain proper blood pressure, period.
Do some drugs that you take strip the stuff out of your body?
Well, remember, from our point of view, it's not the drug, it's how it's used, right? I can prescribe drugs. Thank God for Novocaine. Every time I'm in the dentist's office, I thank God for Novocaine. But here's what people don't, we just haven't thought it through. So when you take a drug into the body, it upregulates your biochemistry. How does it do that? Well, it turns certain things on and makes certain things work faster and more better. What are the mechanisms that the drug regulates, made from? Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, essential fatty acids. That's the stuff that your body is made out of. So when your metabolism is messed with by a drug, it burns through your nutrient reserves that much faster. That's how the drug works, which is why you'll get a blood pressure medication, for instance, and it works for 6 months, and then you need to increase the dose. So why did you need to increase the dose? Because the drug stripped your body of more nutrients. Now, if I was a pharmaceutical, you think the pharmaceutical industry doesn't know how drugs work? You think they don't know the relationship between vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and the mechanism of action of a pharmaceutical? They know. Why don't they put vitamins, minerals, amino acids in with the drug? Because if they did, they'd have to sell less drugs because they'd work more efficiently. But more to the point, the drug itself is not addressing the root cause of the problem. It's like you've got water leakage in the basement, and now you have mold. All right, so you go into the basement and you paint over the mold with paint. Well, you don't see the mold anymore, you don't smell the mold anymore. It's still there because you didn't fix the leak.
Right.
It's only a matter of time until there's more mold. This is what drugs do, except, you know, a handful of antibiotics. They don't address the root cause of the issue. They simply sweep things under the rug, suppress and manage symptoms, which ultimately get worse. Your health gets worse, more drugs. Your health gets worse, surgery. Your health gets worse, more drugs, and then you die.
So you're saying that also new problems rise up?
Yes, yes, because this is, again, the holistic method, right? Everything in the body is connected. So if you, in this case, don't have enough magnesium, not only is it going to affect your blood pressure, but it's going to affect every other metabolic pathway in the body that demands magnesium. It is a complicated, complex situation. So we do not try to micromanage or figure out exactly what nutrients are deficient in anybody's body at any moment in time. We trust in the wisdom of the body. So our recommendation is foundation, fundamental boilerplate medical nutrition. Everybody needs to take 90 essential nutrients every day into their body, appropriate for their body weight, in recipes that you can actually absorb, and then let the body sort it out.
It'll pick what it wants, what it needs,
and get rid of the rest.
We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, I want to unpack some more of this. My guest today is Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be right back.
We are of the belief that the antibody is the result of the disease, not the cause of the disease.
Welcome back. My guest today is Dr. Peter Glidden. We've been joking around with the studio audience a little bit, and they want to know about what?
Autoimmune disease.
Where do you start with that?
Holy smokes. Well, the philosophy of medicine that the MD is trained in is a very particular worldview. It's called allopathic reductionism. And it looks at the world through a certain filter, right? Their interpretation of data is flawed. It has a built-in a priori prejudice that we believe is present that they're not aware of. So for instance, if I went outside every day and I measured the position of the sun in the sky and I charted it and I took thousands of calculations, had thousands of data points over the course of a year, I could accurately predict where the sun was going to be in the sky at any moment in time in the future, and I'd be absolutely correct. If I did not know about gravity or the mass of the Earth or the mass of the sun, if I didn't know that and I had all this data, I could reasonably conclude and be supported by mountains of data that the sun moves around the Earth. Well, look, the sun moves. It's the sun that moves, it's not the Earth, and I've got the data to prove it and back it up. Because you were missing a few data points, you would be wrong, even though you thought in your bones you were absolutely correct. That's the way that it is with autoimmune disease. The medical doctors look at somebody who has an autoimmune disease. Let's say it's rheumatoid arthritis, right?
Okay.
And they draw their blood and they look in the blood and they see that there's an antibody there that isn't present in the body of someone who's healthy. And then they see another rheumatoid arthritis patient, same antibody, same antibody, same antibody, same antibody, same antibody. Then they conclude that the antibody is causing the disease. We are of the belief that the antibody is the result of the disease, not the cause of the disease. Here's how much nutrition your body needs. Here's how much is in your food, less than half. The stress of life burns through your reserves, and then things start to break. So your joints start to break because the body doesn't have the raw materials that it needs to keep them healthy. So every day when you move around, there's little bits of inflammation on a cellular level, little bits of inflammation, and in addition, you are unwittingly eating food every day that you think is healthy that's producing inflammation. It's like throwing gasoline on an existing fire. So inflammation, 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 dead tissue, dead tissue, dead tissue, dead tissue, dead tissue. What does the body try to do to dead tissue? Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right? You see a dead animal on the road, you turn it over, it's being eaten by worms, right? So the body develops an antibody to eliminate the dead and diseased tissue. As if the MD looks and says, oh, the antibody is there, it wasn't present in a healthy person, it's present in someone with rheumatoid arthritis, therefore the antibody is causing the disease, therefore our treatment is going to be suppress the immune system. How does that work? Poorly. So what do we do in someone who has any type of autoimmune disease? Well, we counsel people to stop eating food that's causing inflammation.
Give me the top 10. What would they be?
Oh my God, this is, well,
Just
shake my hand, because this is, now you're going to stop liking me now.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
That's the top 4, okay. Really, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, okay.
What do we eat all the time?
Gluten.
Wheat, barley, rye, and oats, gluten. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Oil in a bottle.
All oil?
Olive oil. Canola oil.
Stop it.
Coconut oil. If it's oil in a bottle, it's going to hurt you. Fried food.
Okay.
I don't even want you to be downwind of fried food. Fried food causes cancer. It creates a chemical in the body called acrylamide. It causes cancer. It's bad. You should not eat anything that's fried. That includes stir-fried organic vegetables cooked in extra super-duper virgin olive oil. Stop it.
No frying, all oil gone.
Correct.
Okay. What are you cooking?
Butter or lard. And,
the ones they say are the worst.
And salt.
And lots of salt.
Okay?
Okay.
Red meat that's cooked well done. If you're going to eat red meat, go for it. Just make sure it's rare or medium rare. Well done red meat has a protein called a heterocyclic amine, which causes cancer. It's bad. Meat with nitrates added as preservatives.
Which is sausages.
Deli ham, deli sausage, pepperoni, turkey, bacon. You can find all that stuff without nitrates.
You can. Okay.
You can, yeah. Nitrates turn into a chemical called nitrosamine, which causes cancer. It's a bad idea.
Okay.
The skins of baked potatoes, yams, and sweet potatoes.
Okay, the skins of baked potatoes, yams.
You know when they get crunchy,
Yeah,
the skins?
they taste so good.
Yeah, they're going to kill you.
Why?
Because the protein in the skin under high heat like that has turned into a chemical called a heterocyclic amine, which causes cancer. So if you're going to eat a baked potato, eat the potato, not the skin.
Not the skin.
Or better, boil the potato or crock pot it, then you can eat the skin and the potato. The next is a carbonated beverage during a meal.
During a meal?
Yeah.
Everybody drinks pop during a meal.
Yeah, I know, it's bad.
So why?
The bubble, I don't care if it's Perrier, I don't care if it's champagne, I don't care if it's beer.
I went off
I don't care
pop
if
and I
it's
went to
club
Perrier.
soda. There you go.
So that's wrong too.
The bubbles are carbon dioxide.
Right.
Carbon dioxide neutralizes stomach acid. If you're healthy, your stomach acid, it's extremely strong, it's extremely acidic. It's supposed to be. So you eat food, right? This is how much nutrition you need. This is how much nutrition is in the food. You swallow it and you wash it down with something with bubbles. You've just neutralized your stomach acid. So now the body can't digest anything out of the food. You're basically getting useless calories. Now, if you want to drink Perrier, between meals, not during a meal. Okay, and the last two foods, corn and soy.
All corn. What about popcorn?
Unless it is, you are guaranteed, and you are guaranteed, you've been guaranteed it's not genetically modified and it's organic. Because genetically modified corn and soy is directly related, not indirectly, directly related to 3 types of cancer, deaths from high blood pressure and deaths from stroke. Genetically modified soy and corn. So we must start going organic, and you must attempt, if you're going to eat corn or soy and probably everything else, ungenetically modified. So think this through with me, okay? Right? Here's how much nutrition the human body needs, 90 essential nutrients. Here's how much is in the food, less than half. The stress of life burns through your reserves, and then on top of that, you're eating food all of the time, which causes inflammation and disallows nutrients from being absorbed into the bloodstream. That's what gluten does, by the way. If you eat gluten, it damages, in most people, it damages the structure in the intestine that absorbs nutrients. So you eat gluten, it's hard for your body to absorb nutrients because the tissue that absorbs nutrients is damaged by the gluten. So here's how much nutrition you need. Here's how much is in your food. The stress of life burns through your reserves, and then you eat food that causes inflammation and that disallows absorption of nutrients into the body. Okay, everybody gets sick.
So there are people, and I know a lot of them, who when they eat gluten, they're tired, they're bloated, they feel gross. And then there are people who seem to have no symptoms at all and eat it freely.
Yeah, then when they're 30 years old, they get arthritis.
So it is affecting them. They're not free from it.
Yeah, and there's a process in physiology called habituation, where you get used to a negative stimulus, right? I remember in college you could smoke in bars, right, back in the day. I was never a smoker, but we'd go and we'd watch a hockey game. You know, you're in there for 2.5, 3 hours. You're surrounded by cigarette smoke. You don't smell it anymore. And then at halftime or during the period break, you go out to your car to get something. You come back in. As soon as you open the door to the bar, it's like, oh, my God, is it smoky in here? You habituate to a constant negative stimuli. You forget that it's there. So take the Dr. Glidden challenge, okay? 4 weeks in a row.
Okay.
Go completely gluten-free. Okay. 100%. Don't even look at it. No wheat, no barley, no rye, no oats. You can have gluten-free bread, gluten-free cookies, gluten-free crackers, gluten-free pancakes, gluten-free whatever you want for 4 weeks. Stop it. And then on the 29th day, just eat gluten. Okay? Have pancakes for breakfast, have a bagel for lunch, have pasta for dinner, have cookies and crackers and donuts all day long. Wait 24 hours and see how you feel.
How am I going to feel?
Like crap. Proof of the pudding's in the
prove
eating,
it to yourself.
Right? Yeah,
prove it to yourself.
Prove it to yourself. And this is an interesting thing to talk about. This is the only reason that my profession survives in such a hostile political climate, right? It's stacked against us.
It is.
It is, right? And we continue to exist. Not only do we exist, we continue to thrive. We continue to get more popular, more accepted. And how is this possible? Because the proof of the pudding's in the eating. When you give your body the stuff it needs to fix itself, you stop eating food that's gumming up the works, your body rallies and fixes itself. It's kind of like we've been driving around in an automobile for 30, 40, 50 years. It's never been tuned up. And every time we put 10 gallons of gas in it, we put 1 gallon of diesel fuel. Well, that's the wrong fuel for the car. It's only a matter of time until something happens. So when you finally get enlightened, so to speak, and you do the right stuff, you give the body what it needs, stop eating the crap, all of a sudden it's like you're driving around in a car that's tuned up. Your sleep's better, your energy's better, your mood's better, everything's better. Because your body now, for the first time since you've been born, has everything that it needs to work the way that nature and God intends it to. And that's a game changer.
Wow. Thank you for being with us today. Appreciated having you here. My guest today has been Dr. Peter Glidden. The book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. Read a copy. I think it's important for all of us to study for ourselves what's going on out there. You're going to find a lot of opinions like Dr. Glidden's, but you're going to have to make some decisions about your health. So go learn, go grow, and be informed. We'll be right back.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health.
Bada bing, bada boom.
When we're dealing with chronic fatigue, we help the adrenal glands first.
Australia's here, all right. Tonight we're going to be talking about fibromyalgia. 80% recovery on my lower back. It's 80% night.
From the naturopathic point of view, from the medical nutrition point of view,
I feel like I'm gliding along without a worry in the world. Here's the best part. Well, like that wasn't the best part. The tumor is not the disease. It is the result of the disease. And we are good to go.
is to blame. It's got nothing to do with exercise. Exercise will, in fact, make it worse.
Thanks, Doc. You may have just saved my husband's finger. A rational person would look at something like this. You want to spray the heck out of it with colloidal silver when it shows up.
What causes it and what to do to fix it.